Hi and welcome to Priori Digital Studio tutorial. In this video, I will show you how to set up and use your service-based small business model in the most efficient way. In this video, I'm using Google Sheets, but the Excel version is exactly the same. First thing, we protect most of the cells where there are formulas to make sure that you don't erase any important formulas that could impact the spreadsheet. So if you see this message, it means that you're not supposed to touch it. But don't worry, I'll show you step by step how to prepare your spreadsheet. So if you, by mistake, touch a cell with a formula and you see this message, simply click on the X and you will be fine. Another important note, please don't move a cell from one place to another. If you do that, it will probably generate some issues. The best way to avoid these errors is to copy and paste your data. Now let's have a look at the Setup tab. Step 1, you will have to enter your currency symbol. So in my case, I am in dollars, so I simply type in the dollar sign. Step 2, add your business information and your payment information. Basically, this information will automatically be added to the automated invoice explained later in this video. So you simply have to type in your name, company name, address, city, state or province, zip code, country, etc. You see the drill. Step 3, add all your employees' name, first names, and hourly rates. These informations will be used in the payroll and timesheet tabs. Then step 4, write your tax percentage. If you are in a country with 2 or more different taxes, you can make the sum of the taxes. So you simply type in the number here. So as an example, I just typed in 10%. So in step 5, list all your items, write your SKU, the unit price, as well as the minimum inventory. When I'm talking about minimum inventory, it's basically meaning the minimum amount of each items you want to keep in your inventory. If you do not have this minimum inventory, you're basically in trouble. So keep that in mind. So let's write an example together. For example, big plate. So this SKU will be 00029. The unit will be unit. It could also be like kilograms or each or millimeters, depending on what you are selling. The unit price, let's say it's $35. And then my minimum inventory is 10. Perfect. You also have a space to take notes if needed. So this tab is finished. So let's have a look at the Order Overview tab. In the Order Overview tab, you will be able to see the yearly overview performance of your business in terms of orders. So the first thing that you will want to do is to set up the start date using the drop-down menu. So you can simply type in the year and then use the drop-down menu to select a month. So in our case, we will just select February. Very similarly as the bookkeeping tabs, this tab is looking at the data on a 12-month period. So you can select any months to start your period. Right beneath the start date, you have a summary of your best seller item and your best customer for the year. Then on the side, you have a graph with the amount of money received each month and the amount on which you still are waiting for the payment. The best is, of course, to have all your invoices paid. Then you have a graph comparing the amount of money invoiced, so basically your revenue for the month, and the amount of money you spent on restocking your inventory. In the middle of the spreadsheet, you have a very comprehensive summary of the year. You can find all the information about your invoices, how many are paid or unpaid for each month, as well as the money value for these invoices. You also have information on your average order value, money spent on restock, your profit, and your profit margin. You also have a pie chart summarizing all your inventory information. You can have more details on the inventory in another tab. Don't worry, I will explain this later on in this tutorial. And finally, you have room for notes and to-dos. On another important note, in this tab, you really do not have to write any information. Everything is automated. So now let's have a look at the Customer Tracker tab. The Customer Tracker tab will help you to compile all your customer information. So in this tab, you can list your customer names, their company if they are doing B2B, their address, the city, the state or province, and their zip code and country. You can also fill out their email and phone number information. This information will be used to prepare their future invoice. Then, on the right-hand side of the spreadsheet, the data is auto-populated and you will be able to know the number of orders for each customer, the total amount in money that they paid, as well as their last order date. As you can see, this table is quite straightforward, and also on an important note, as you can see, every time we have light gray cells, it means that everything is auto-populated and you do not need to enter any data. Now let's have a look at the Inventory Tracker tab. The Inventory Tracker will help you never run out of stock. In this tab, every gray cell is automated and all the white ones can be filled out. On the left-hand side, the only information you have to enter is the initial inventory when you start using this spreadsheet. So basically, when you will buy the spreadsheet and start counting your inventory, that is where you will fill in your initial inventory. Then you can fill in the plus or minus column and the last check column. These columns should be filled every time you do your inventory to adjust it. So if you have more inventory than what is filled in the spreadsheet, you can just add it in the plus or minus inventory. Same thing if you have less inventory than planned. Moreover, you also have some room for notes. Then you have the right-hand side table that should be used when you reorder your products. So every time you need to reorder stock, you can use the drop-down menu to select your product SKU. The item name is automated. Then enter the supplier's name, the quantity you just bought, and the item cost. The order value will be calculated automatically. You can then add the order date and the order statute using the drop-down menu. So let's have an example together. So let's take the big plate I entered earlier in this tutorial. So let's say that we currently have 5 big plates. So as you can see in the Q column, name status, it's saying that it's time to reorder, since if you remember in the setup tab, we put a minimum inventory of 10. So let's go to the right-hand side in the reorder tracker to reorder our big plate. So using the drop-down menu, I will select the SKU 29. Then as you can see, the name big plate appears automatically. Then let's say the supplier is Walmart. I bought a quantity of 100. So let's say the item cost is $2. Don't forget, it's item cost, right? Not the cost of 100 plates. So as you can see, the order value is $200, $2 times 100. And let's say our order date was 1st of October. Then in the order status, I can select arrived. Let's say I purchased it before. So as soon as I clicked on arrived, as you can see in the status column, my status changed from time to reorder to in stock. So now that you've seen an example, I will go over the item tracker table in details. So once the table is filled, it will update the left one, like I showed in the example, where you will be able to find the number of items sold for each SKU, the income generated, the restock cost, and the number of restock. So as you can see in my example, we restocked 100 plates for a restock cost of $200. And in the income generated column, we did not sell big plates yet, so it's $0. And our inventory is now 105 since I originally had 5 plates and I bought 100. Another very important column is the status column. So the spreadsheet will automatically tell you if your stock is in stock or out of stock. It will also tell you if it is time to reorder or reorder soon. All this information is also shown in the table and graph above the tab. And above the reorder tracker table, we also have inventory value. So meaning we calculate all the inventory that you will have at home or in your warehouse. And we also have a table explaining the most often ordered product. This information is quite important for you to know since those must be the highest ticket value item of your business. So now let's have a look at the monthly timesheet tab. So the next 3 tabs are to track your employee timesheets and to easily bill your clients. So you can choose if you prefer to track your employee work time weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. So let's have a look at the monthly tab first. So in the monthly tab timesheet, you just have to enter your start date by adding the year. So you just have to type in the year. So let's say it's 2023. Then using the drop-down menu to select the month. Then you simply have to write the number of hours of each employee in the table, meaning the working hours. So here I already have information. So as we can see, John Smith, Max Doe, and Jessica Parker already have some hours entered for each of these days. So let's take an example for Peter. Let's say on Monday, March 20, he worked 8 hours on Tuesday, 8 on Wednesday, 7 on Thursday, as well as 7 on Friday. So you repeat this process every week for your employees. So at the bottom of this table, as you can see, you have the total for the month for each employees. Then if we scroll down a little bit, you can also see their hourly rate defined in the Setup tab and the amount of their payroll for the month. Basically, their hourly rate times their total hours. So now let's have a look at the biweekly tab. This tab is almost the same as the previous tab. So start by entering the start date by adding the year and selecting the month using the drop-down menu. Then you also have to select the week number of the month, select with the drop-down menu. So let's say week 2. And then you can also decide which day you want to start your week. It could be Sunday, Monday, you decide. Then enter the work time of your employees. So it's the same process. We simply add all the hours. So let's say Peter worked 8 hours, again, 8, 8, 7, and 7. Perfect. So at the end, you also have the total hours for those 2 weeks. And at the bottom in the green table, you also have the hourly rate from the setup tab, as well as the total amount of their payroll. So now let's quickly have a look at the weekly timesheet. So this tab works exactly the same as the biweekly tab. Simply enter your start date and start filling the table with your employee working hours. You also have a summary of their hourly rate and payroll at the bottom of the tab. So now let's have a look at the Payroll Dashboard. In this tab, you will be able to track your employee salary for the year. It could be the gross or the net salary. So first, you have to choose in the drop-down menu if you want to pay your employees weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. Then add the date of the first payroll. So this could be depending on your financial year. Then you can start entering the data in the table. So as you can see, I already entered a few information here as example. This table is adjustable and you will have to adjust it depending on the type of payroll, meaning is it biweekly, weekly, or monthly. To do so, simply click on the small plus sign on the left-hand side. So as you can see, we have the heads up message just like at the beginning of this tutorial. So when you see this message in this specific tab, it's the only time where you can click on OK. So once you click on OK, as you can see, the spreadsheet expands and you can see more rows. So for example, if you selected weekly in the drop-down menu, as if you scroll down, you will see that all the rows are filled in. Since if you pay your employees weekly, you will need 52 weeks of payroll, right? If you pay your employees, for example, monthly, you can simply select using the drop-down menu monthly. Then since you have a lot of extra rows, you can simply click on the minus sign. Again, this is the only tab where you can click on OK. And as you can see, the table will shrunk and you will only see 12 rows for your monthly payroll. All right, so we'll come back to my previous example with bi-weekly payrolls. So select the bi-weekly with the drop-down menu. Perfect. So on the last note, if you want to track the gross salary, you can simply copy and paste the data from the Timesheet tab. So copy your data and then put it back here. You can click on Ctrl, Shift, and V. You could also enter it manually. So let's say for Peter, we could enter some data. Let's say 1,500, and then the next payroll, 2,000. So now let's have a look at the employee schedules. In this tab, you will be able to track the number of days when your employees are sick, at work, on holidays, etc. To do so, choose your start date by adding the year and selecting the month, just like what we did in the other tabs. Then add all the attendance type you want to track in your business and their abbreviation for the table. So I entered a few examples here. So let's say at work. So the abbreviation is just work. You could also write W, you could write WK. It's on you. You decide. So as you can see, I have a few examples here at work, holiday, sick leave, miscellaneous, etc. Then once you want to enter information, simply choose the status of each employee for each day of the month with the drop-down menu. So here's an example. Let's say Peter is really good and goes to work a lot. Then he went on a holiday for 1 week. And then that's it. As you can see, we have multiple colors with different types of leave. Then at the bottom of this tab, you have a summary of all your employees with the number of days that they were at work, on holidays, sick leave, etc. You see the drill. Then at the top of the tab, you have a chart to summarize your table. So you can easily see at one glance the attendance status of your employees. Now let's have a look at the Order Tracker tab. This tab aims for you to track all your orders. First, you want to write the invoice number. So let's say invoice 34. Then you will be able to select the customer from the drop-down menu. So let's say we select customer M. This information will come from the Customer Tracker tab. Then you will have to enter the issue date and the due date. If you are using Google Sheets, simply double-click and select the date. If you are using Excel, you will have to type in the date. So as you can see, the rest of the column are light gray, meaning that they are automated, so you can directly scroll right. You can then start entering the different items of your order. So let's take the example we used earlier, big plate. So we use the drop-down menu to select the item, then write the description if you want. We could write the color, let's say white. The unit price is automated, as you can see. And you will have to write the quantity sold. So let's say for this invoice, we sold 5 big plates. So as you can see, the total will be calculated by itself. You can do the same process for the other item on your order. So let's take another example. In item 2, we will select spoon. The color is silver. As you can see, the unit price is automated, and then let's say we sold 4, and the total price is also automated. Perfect. Then you can scroll left and see that all the information will be added. So the amount, the taxes, and the total amount is totally automated. In addition, you can tick the checkbox if, for whatever reason, the order is canceled. So let's make an example. If we tick a box, you can see the order is red and then strike through. So let's say that we invoiced the client and this client paid the total amount. So $412.50. So as you can see, the status changed to paid. Let's say the customer paid $400, so not the full amount. The status will change to partially paid. So let's say this customer was very generous and paid us $415. As you can see, the status changed to overpaid. So as you remember, we said that we sold 5 big plates. So let's go back to the inventory tab to see what changed. So as you can see now, in the item sold, we have 5. And then in the income generated, we now have 175, meaning 5 times the unit price. And the inventory also changed. It was 105 before, and now it decreased to 100 since we sold 5 plates. So now let's have a look at the Invoice tab. The last tab is the Automated Invoice. So for this tab, you simply have to select the invoice number using the drop-down menu. So let's select our example, invoice 34. And as you can see, all the information will appear automatically. Make sure to have filled all the information in the other tab very well so you can see that everything works properly. So we should have the invoice date, the due date, customer information, our own information, as well as all the sold items. You can also add your logo if you click on this cell, then click on Insert, Image, Insert Image in a cell. And then you could bring some image either from your computer or from another place. Then if you want to print your invoice, you simply have to click on the printer icon. And as you can see, everything works. Make sure that all the characteristic of your printer is working so you can choose your paper size, the orientation, etc. Once you're satisfied, simply click on Next, choose your printer and print. In my case, I will not be printing. So again, every time you see this message, it's because you might have clicked on a cell with a formula. If you see this kind of message, you have to click on the X. If you want to print your invoice on Excel, the step-by-step instruction is included in our instruction PDF. So I hope this tutorial helps you to easily set up your spreadsheet. Don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions or concerns, and follow Priori Digital Studio on Etsy and YouTube for sneak peeks on our new templates.